Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Elizabeth.
Zaron.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I got another question for you while you got your game face on. Do you know what's ridiculous?
I do. It's more ridiculous, I think, than Cocaine Bear.
Okay.
This was
promising.
referred to me by a lot of people, but first and foremost, number one in my heart, producer Dave. Sent me this. That this lady, she's driving in Ohio. She got pulled over. And when the cops looked in the driver's seat, there was Chewy. Chewy, not the Pet Supply website.
And not Chewbacca.
And not my favorite Star
Wookiee,
Wars entity. Well, one of my favorite, Chewy. No, this was a raccoon named Chewy. And Chewy, what's special about Chewy? Chewy had a glass meth pipe in its mouth.
In the car?
Sitting in the driver's seat that the cops had just pulled over. And so this woman, I'm not going to share her name. She's shamed enough. She gets busted, right? Like drug possession.
Wait, where is she seated in the car?
It's not entirely clear. Like,
Did she try to act like the raccoon was driving?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, was Chewy on her lap?
Yeah.
Or did she be like, the classic, like, oh, I got warrants. You drive.
Exactly. You were driving.
And so, like, they stopped this car, right? And I guess because, like, whatever.
Also here, you hold the pipe, too?
You can only imagine, like, with the stuff that they found. They found meth, crack, 3 other pipes.
She's got a lot of hobbies.
Aside from the one in Chewy's maw.
Okay.
And they pulled him over because, like, there was an active warrant.
Oh, of course.
And
on Chewy.
Suspended driver's license.
The driver, right.
Yeah, for the driver. She gets cited for drug possession, 3 counts of drug paraphernalia, driving under suspension. She could face more charges of crack possession depending on the outcome of some lab results.
Okay.
The raccoon, fine, safe.
Oh, okay. I was worried.
Not hooked.
Yeah, not hooked.
Not Joneson's. But they made sure that the raccoon had proper paperwork, which Chewy did.
Wait,
this
what?
woman is riding around in a meth mobile with like a bunch of trash and all sorts of other stuff, but she had all the paperwork and documentation necessary to own a pet raccoon in Ohio. So all the rest of her life is spinning out, going crazy.
But you ain't taking a raccoon.
She's got her permits down for Chewy because Chewy's legal, right? And that's why she's like, I have warrants. Chewy, you got papers. Yeah. You're driving.
Turns out her phone and her rent are also in Chewy's name.
What else? Oh my God. What's Chewy's credit score is my question. That Zaron.
Chewy's seen some stuff.
Zaron.
That little trash panda, he knows things that he shouldn't know.
Those little opposable thumbs.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. Zaron, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Whoo, buddy.
So meth raccoon. You got Coke Bear.
Yeah.
Now we got meth raccoon.
I can't wait to see the movie they make out of this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Goodbye. We're done.
The end. Roll credits.
I really don't know where to go from there.
There's really no you can't.
So just pretend that this is anywhere near as entertaining for the next 40 minutes.
You got it.
I love baseball.
Me too.
Oh, I was wondering about that, right?
Yeah.
Because I know you've had some recent updates in your love life with baseball.
Yes, I have.
You lost your team.
I did. Well, I lost a team. I gained a team.
Oh, how so?
The Oakland A's, who will always be the Oakland A's, they're off playing in some crap box, kitty litter box in Sacramento in like 9,000 degree heat.
Oh, wait for July.
I know. God.
120 degrees, maybe. Like they can press it. Like I'm talking on the field. It'd be like 118, 114 in the stands.
Oh my God.
Coming off that.
That's what they get. That's what you get. When you cross us. I am now into the Oakland Ballers.
Oh, word.
Which is like a minor league team, but super fun.
Nice.
They just signed an extension, a 10-year lease on the park where they play in Oakland and West Oakland. And it's like kind of where all the cool people go. Like,
I'm glad you're not becoming a San Francisco Giants fan. I'm glad you went to the minor leagues.
I'm you know what? To heck with MLB.
Oh, yeah.
I like the sport. And apparently, so do a bunch of other people who just want to see people play cool baseball. So, Oakland Ballers. Roll credits.
No. Well, you're in luck because I have a story for you about minor league criminals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a humorous distraction from the travails of your relationship. Yeah. These guys.
Can I tell you something? I got that new Pope glow.
Oh, I noticed. That's what that is?
Uh-huh.
It's coming off you. It's nice.
It's pretty good.
Well, these guys, Elizabeth, they take their turn at bat, so to speak. They go play in the big leagues of financial fraud and insider trading.
Wait, so there's no actual baseball?
Maybe. This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous.
Nutrageous.
Elizabeth.
Zaron.
Our story today begins with the Tampa Bay Rays minor league farm system.
Okay.
What do you know about the Tampa Bay Rays farm clubs?
Not a thing.
Well, you are in luck. I happen to have everything you'd ever want to know or need to know about the Tampa Bay Rays farm teams. The system is a loose constellation of teams in different leagues and even different countries. For instance, there's a team in the Florida Complex Leagues, the Florida Complex League Rays, which sounds like a club in the Florida State Penal System.
Right?
But yeah, there are also two teams in the Dominican Summer League. They're the DSL Rays and the DSL Tampa. Which sounds kind of kinky.
Wow.
Now, there's also the famous minor league club, the Durham Bulls. They started out as the Durham Tobacconists.
Tobacconists?
That's an old school name, right? That's like the Brooklyn Trolley Dodgers.
Yes.
Now, we'll come back to the Durham Bulls in a second, but there's my favorite, the Montgomery Biscuits in the Southern League.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do they have a good, hat or logo? Because I'm all about those weird Southern leagues. I used to go to some of them when I lived down there, and there's like Savannah Bananas. They're big showbiz guys.
This is their mascot.
Oh, wow. Okay, I need something with it.
The Montgomery biscuit.
Sentient biscuit.
Isn't that nice? Yeah. So you've got like a biscuit that's like, it looks like it's talking to you. Its mouth is open. There's a pat of butter as its tongue.
A biscuit that didn't talk to you and say, eat me.
Yeah, that's true. That is very, very true.
Or is that just like when you're on PCP in a Waffle House?
Either one. The biscuits be talking.
That's true.
There's also the Charleston River Dogs.
Yeah.
Of the infamous Carolina League.
Yeah.
You ever see one of their games? You ever been there?
I think so. Is that where the Florence Swamp Foxes?
Perhaps. After Marion, the Swamp Fox?
Francis Marion.
Francis Marion, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but like Savannah Bananas, like when I was living down there, they were just sort of coming up, and now they're the media darlings for all their dance routines.
Oh, that's right.
Such.
Yeah, well, they do all the stand there on the pitcher's mound. And
I was on their mailing list for a long time, and I know isn't that cool for me?
Yeah,
and I kept
you're
hitting
quite the
unsubscribe.
minor league baseball hipster.
I kept hitting unsubscribe,
yeah.
and it wouldn't.
Really?
They would not
Is
stop
a
sending
fake button?
me. I keep a tight rein on my inbox. I unsubscribe from everything.
Really? That's why you don't respond to my email?
Yes, okay. I unsubscribed from you. Yeah. But like if I buy something and they immediately send me a newsletter, I go through and I unsubscribe immediately. And then I keep a mental list of who doesn't participate in that. Boy, do I have a weekend task for you. I'd love for you to do in my email inbox. How many unread emails do you have in your inbox right now? 40,000. What? Yeah. They just grow each day because I just let some of them go and I mark some and I keep some that I want to refer to later. How many do you think I have? But dating back over all the years, now I think it's 40,000. Unread. How many do you think I have? 2? 0. 0, of course. I was guessing maybe. I maintain 0. Yeah, since the show started, maybe you've checked. In all my email accounts. I'm proud. As you should be. I should be. So, good job, Elizabeth. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, I'm patting you on the back, but your hand got in the way, so... No. There's also, let's see, the High A Club, the Bowling Green Hot Rods. That's another. They're in the Midwest League. Yeah, their mascots. It's like an uninspired ripoff of the New Jersey Devils, so we won't look into that. Yeah, it's no fun. But anyway, Elizabeth, speaking of minor league baseball, Bull Durham, that movie. Do you know that one? Yes. Right. The Cost? Yeah, it's an 80s baseball rom-com classic. Kevin Costner. And it's about the Durham Bulls, but they flip it and make it Bull Durham. And yeah, Kevin Costner is the star. He's Crash Davis, and he's this catcher who's this veteran who gets knocked about in the league. Now he's back in the minors. Who's the other guy? Nuke LaLoosh is Tim Robbins. Yeah. And Susan Sarandon is like the minor league, very sophisticated groupie. Yes. It's quite the story. She plays Annie Savoy, right? There's Nuke LaLoosh, Annie Savoy, and Crash Davis, and so they all have their little menage a trois, but of spirit. I don't know. That's a different edition of the movie. Totally. Well, it's 80s. It's very 80s. But Sports Illustrated called it the #1 greatest sports movie of all time.
Yeah, which if you think about it, has some real strong competition. There's like The Natural, there's Hoosiers.
There's the other Costner vehicle, Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
And my personal favorite.
Longest Yard?
Longest Yard.
Major League.
Major League, that's yours.
And then the Oakland A's use that as a playbook. But aside from that.
Mine, thanks for asking, is Bones Brigade 4, The Search for Hannibal Chin.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Anyway,
yeah, that is good stuff.
What about Freedom, starring two of your favorite people, Sylvester Stallone and Pele?
Wait,
I'm not
familiar with Freedom.
It is you got to go out and rent that. It is
Pele
watch Sly Stallone
and Sly shared the screen.
Oh God. Okay, we're on it.
Oh my goodness.
See,
Celluloid Dreams.
You brought in, extreme sports of skateboarding. Mm-hmm. Well, then we've got thrashing.
Totally. Gleaming the Cube.
Rad.
Oh, it's not really. Well, yeah.
Rad.
Rad. Oh my gosh.
Well, are you ready to bicycle boogie?
Yeah, exactly. So, you ready to meet today's perps?
Yes, I pray it has nothing to do with baseball, nothing to do with Bull Durham, that all of this was just a side quest.
Totally. The side quest is just this is setting the table, and then we're going to now clear the table of these appetizers.
Go eat somewhere
else.
Get
into the meal. It's next door. So, today's perps. Real life minor league ball players, though. So they do have that.
Okay.
I like these guys. A bunch of California guys. One dude's from Colorado, but they're most of them California guys.
It's forgiven.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for them at every point in this story. I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
These are my dudes. Unless they later Milkshake Duck, and in that case, I never knew these dudes. Didn't know what dudes. Who? As my but for now, as my man
I'll
Denzel
let the lawyers
says,
handle that.
My man. So Elizabeth, first up is the mastermind, Jordan Cassar, 28 in 2024. I don't know their exact birth dates, so I'm going to tell you their age according to their charging documents.
Okay.
So 28 and 24.
Okay.
So late of El Cajon, California, El Cajon. He was a bright ball prospect back when he started for Pepperdine University there in Malibu.
Yeah, right on the water.
Totally beautiful. Yeah, he finessed that into a spot in the Tampa Bay Rays farm system, thus our discussion of the Tampa Bay Rays. Then there's Grant Witherspoon, age 27 in 2024. He's from the Denver suburb of Littleton, Colorado. He played ball with Jordan Cassar in the Rays farm club system. Apparently, he's still playing ball in Mexico now.
Oh.
There's also Austin Bernard. He was 27 in 2024. He's from San Diego suburb of Oceanside, California.
Okay.
You know I love that town.
I know you do.
It's one of those blue-collar beach towns, and I need to go take a weekend down there. Anyway, I'm going to get back to, I'm going to drive the lane like I was Evan Bernard. Sorry, Austin Bernard. So he was also on that same Pepperdine team with Jordan Cassar. After that, he also managed to get a spot in the farm system, and he bounced around in the minors for a while. He's still knocking about in baseball currently. Most recently, he signed to play for a team in India. India baseball. Yeah. And lastly, there's Chase Lambert. He was 27 in 2024. He's from Malibu, which is also where Pepperdine is located, so hometown. He played ball there with Jordan Cassar, and he's out of baseball now. He's an electrician in Malibu, and he coaches baseball.
He's making way more than ball players.
Yes, minor league ball players for real. So those are our main players. Now, to be clear, Jordan Cassar and Grant Witherspoon were the ones who were drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays in 2018. They're the real goers. They're the ball players, professional grade, right? Witherspoon was apparently the better prospect. He went in the 4th round. Chase Lambert was also then drafted later on by the Pittsburgh Pirates, so he's also in the minor league, major league farm system.
Yeah.
Now, he knew Cassar and Bernard from their days at Pepperdine. Now, anyway, Jordan Cassar, Witherspoon, they join the Tampa Bay Rays farm system together. They become roommates on the road. They become close friends. Later, they become co-conspirators. But that's later.
But,
So what did my guys do? Great question, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
What were their crimes? It was financial fraud. That was their swing in the big leagues of insider trading. So at the moment, they're facing 20 years in prison and $5 million in fines. And their cases are undecided.
All 4 of them.
Still in the Southern District of California federal court system. So at every point of today's story, please imagine I'm saying allegedly.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's documented.
We'll give it a blanket allegedly.
A lot of it's documented, but in any case, it's not allegedly.
Allegedly.
So, quick question. What do we know about the financial life of a professional minor league ball player?
Oh, it's tough.
It's brutal.
It's really tough.
I did a little reading up on life in the minor leagues. In 2019, 86% of minor league ball players live below the American poverty line.
86.
Which at the time was $12,490 a year.
Oh.
That means 86% of minor leaguers made less than $12,000 a year.
And they're like, think about it. These dudes are down in like Southern California.
Totally. They have to pay rent. Some of them are parents. They got childcare.
Yeah.
And they're making, and their salaries basically range between $6,000 and $15,000. And also keep in mind, they get paid for 6 months of work, but they have to then the rest of the year keep in shape. So they got to pay trainers or at least a gym membership, all sorts of things, right?
Human growth hormones.
Exactly. You got to get your HGH. So minor leagues have pushed for a pay raise, and they cite the number of $60,000. That's what they would like to ask for.
That sounds fair.
It's a reasonable living wage for them.
Yeah.
Now, Major League Baseball, it ain't hurting. In 2019, where I have some actual strong data, MLB brought in $10.7 billion in revenue.
Yeah, I think they can break some off.
Yeah. Now, for them to give...
This is why. Not a big MLB fan anymore.
I get it. Now, it would cost each team about $15 million to pay their minor leaguers a livable salary of $60,000.
They've got that.
Now, also keep in mind, 24 out of the 30 major league teams, the owners are billionaires.
Yeah.
So there's that as well. It's not like they're hurting. It's not like they're like, is this how I got to feed my kids with the baseball team? You know, it's not happening. Now, the U.S. Congress did step into this fray to pass new legislation. Only trouble was U.S. Congress legislated on the behalf of the billionaire owners.
Of course.
In 2018, U.S. Congress passed this thing called Save America's Pastime Act. The new bill exempted minor league players from protections under federal labor laws. And that new law also allowed major league owners to act like minor leagues are contract players without a union or collective bargaining, which means the owners, they don't have to pay them appropriately because they're just lucky to be pro athletes.
Uber drivers.
They got the dream. They got hope. That's what they should be happy with, I
That'll
guess.
save America's pastime.
Yeah. So, So anyway, now, to be fair, in 2021, Major League Baseball did improve the living standards for minor leaguers after the issue bubbled up to the point that it was in the press.
Yeah, during COVID.
Yes, exactly. So minor leaguer Cam Kersey, who's the infielder for Hillsborough Hops, he told the outlet Perfect Union, quote, so my housing last year, I was living in a townhome garage. And so I was on the bottom level living in a garage. It was like 85 square feet, no heat, no air. Fast forward to this year, the Diamondbacks did an outstanding job. They put all of us up in apartments, furnished, Wi-Fi, own bedrooms, TV, anything you could need. They got their own bedrooms, Elizabeth.
Wow. And the running water.
No, but I mean, I joke, but I mean, they are making some concessions, but there's so much more room to go.
But here's the thing with professional athletes.
And they did it mostly, as you pointed out, because of COVID.
Yeah,
so they could isolate.
Yeah, everyone saw it. But like with professional athletes, I know that they're overpaid and like to an obscene extreme.
Sure.
But they do need to make a lot of money each season because their careers are so short.
That as well.
It's like not like if you're just in the workforce and you got like however many,
And proportional to the value they create.
The value they create, the damage that they do to their bodies for our entertainment.
There's that as well.
Like they need to be compensated.
And they should be gloried a bit. I mean, we all want them as heroes. That involves some compensation.
Right, exactly.
There's that ancient gladiator who made like billions.
Yeah. Let's get back to that.
So the big change, as I said, was housing, but they still earn poverty wages.
Yeah.
So there you go. Which now brings us to our minor league ball players who turned ridiculous criminals. So after these messages, I'll tell you how they tried to improve their material conditions, pull themselves out of poverty with some old-fashioned crime, insider trading.
Yes.
Back in 2 and 2. Elizabeth.
Zaron.
We're back.
Heyo.
So you ready to talk minor league financial crimes?
Of course.
So first we need to get over some terms, since I know that neither of us have the skill to, well, anyone would call financial literacy.
Got zero.
Right? Like I am financially illiterate.
Me too.
Like first up, do you know how the stock market has a ticker? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're both good there.
Buy, sell, buy.
The companies, they get symbols that represent them on the ticker. You know about that, right?
Yeah.
And they get to pick their symbols as long as nobody else has it. So today we have a couple companies. Del Taco, they had a stock market ticker symbol. Do you know what theirs was?
No.
Taco.
4
letters, taco. Because it's got to be short.
Yeah.
And taco is short. And Del's lame because Del already took it.
Oh,
the
yeah.
computer
that's
company,
right.
I think. Anyway, but those days were gone because in 2022, Jack in the Box purchased Del Taco and turned it into a subsidiary, wiping them off the stock market. You want to guess what the stock market symbol for Jack in the Box is?
Jack?
Yep, it's Jack. 4 letters, Jack.
Yeah,
which means Jack replaced taco on the stock market, which just seems like a blow against whimsy.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, San Diego-based fast food chain Jack in the Box is now one of the biggest burger chains.
It's based in San Diego.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
is that why it's not good?
Oh,
kidding.
Some NorCal shame on the San Diego out of nowhere.
Please stop.
From left field. So it's the corporate culture of San Diego and Jack in the Box is where our story takes place. So you're going to love this, Elizabeth.
That's great.
The story is about, as I said, some Southern California boys, but our story also involves Del Taco, a Southern California icon of food and, of course, insider trading, a California tradition. So, according to federal indictment documents, minor league ballplayer Jordan Cassar was home in San Diego. It was October 2021, and while he was home, he went out with some friends for some drinks. One of his friends was an old college friend from his days back at Pepperdine. The old friend was now a corporate executive. Specifically, he worked at Jack in the Box.
Okay.
But back at Pepperdine, the old friend was also on the baseball team. So these are like jock buddies.
Yeah.
And then but his dreams of being a pro athlete didn't like wither and die there. He went on to go play minor league baseball too for a while. But eventually he put down his batting gloves and he picked up a tie and he went to work for corporate America. And so these two, though, they remained friends and now they're hanging out. And according to the SEC indictment, the friend is always referred to as finance employee, which should tell you he's a cooperating witness.
Yeah,
so what changed between friendly drinks in October 21 and cooperating witness in federal court in 2025? Great question, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
So the deal was Jack in the Box was planning on buying Del Taco. But no one outside of Jack in the Box corporate was supposed to know that. But the finance employee knew about it. He was the financial analyst department for Jack in the Box, so he was aware of the company's plans to acquire Del Taco. And according to the SEC complaint, quote, the finance employee had knowledge of the acquisition, was responsible for, among other things, tasks related to the acquisition due diligence process.
Oh.
So now normally when the old friends would get together for drinks, they talk about the usual suspects. Romantic hookups, travel, relationships, and how their personal money was, affecting their lives. But that October, they talked about M&A.
M&A?
In finance talk, M&A stands for mergers and acquisitions.
Yes.
And the finance employee let Jordan Cassar know about the impending deal for Del Taco that he was all involved up in, and how once Wall Street found out about this planned acquisition, Del Taco's stock would skyrocket in value because soon it would be Jack in the Box stock. So anyway, we need to pause and discuss a few more financial terms, Elizabeth.
Okay, I can do
you know
this.
what a stock option is?
Yeah, it's when you're given the option, you will be getting these stocks. Generally is like either your employment or part of that kind of package or retirement. Yeah, that's. I don't know if I'm right.
You're basically right. I did not know how to define this well, so I'm going to lean on the SEC charging documents, which quote, a stock option gives its purchase holder the right, but not the obligation to buy or sell shares of an underlying stock at a specified price per share, the strike price, within a specific period of time prior to the expiration date, the expiration. Now, if you want to buy an option, they're sold as contracts, which according to the SEC charging documents, the contract, quote, gives the option holder the opportunity to buy or sell 100 shares of an underlying stock. This is on average. Now, there's also something called a call option.
Right.
Back to the SEC charging documents for our definitions, quote, a call option gives the purchase holder of the option the right to purchase a security at a specified strike price prior to expiration. A call option is out of the money when the strike price is above the current market price of the underlying security and in the money when the strike price is below the market price.
Sure, whatever.
All right, is this all making sense so far?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the idea is a buyer is out of the money on their call option, then they anticipate a move on the market and positions themselves relative to what they believe is an undervalued price. Or if there's insider trading, what they know is an undervalued price.
Right.
Because there's about to be big news, which will drive the price up and drive it up before the option expires, or inversely drive it down because there's about to be bad news. But if you know some news that's about to dramatically affect the price of a stock, you can get an option ahead of time, or a bunch of them that are set for a price.
Okay.
All right. So the options are listed in series, which means the options on the stock have the same price and expiration date. So you get a series of these options and they all package together. All right. So that's all the finance talk for now.
Okay.
Back to Jordan Cassar and the finance employee. Now, finance employee, he's a senior associate in strategic finance for Jack in the Box. Like he's high up muckety muck. He's got the big title whatever.
He's like in the airport. He's got his Bluetooth in and he's talking so loud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he's
yeah.
just
You
like,
recognize the type.
And then, he's like, "Look, I'm just going to have a cocktail. It's 5:00 somewhere." Yeah.
It's 11 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
So,
I've been in the airport before.
September of 2021, he learned about the finance employee. He learned about the upcoming Del Taco deal, right? And he's responsible for coordinating due diligence, as we said. So that means he's going to do analysis and for this acquisition, which means importantly, he knows the timing of the deal structure. He knew when a potential sale would become news, and he knew that if anyone knew what he knew, they could buy a stock option and it would skyrocket when the news broke, and they'd be very, very much wealthier than they were before.
Yeah.
Now, Elizabeth, they call that insider trading.
Yes, they do.
It's all the rage today. You see it all the time.
It really is.
But when some minor leaguers try to get in on the action, suddenly it's a crime.
Suddenly you're not allowed to do. Okay.
So anyway, Jordan Kassar, he goes out drinking with his old friend, finance employee. He hears about this upcoming deal when his friend's bragging about it. And remember, he's making poverty wages. So what does he do with his rare chance for a come up? You guessed it. He buys Del Taco options.
Yeah, he does.
At the time, Del Taco stock was trading at $8.74 a share.
All right.
Which was inexpensive enough for an impoverished minor leaguer. He could get into the stock market, get himself a series of options.
Sure.
He's big balling it now, right? Only Jordan Kassar also tried to hook up his friends, his fellow impoverished minor leaguers.
Yeah.
So he tells his buddy and former Pepperdine teammate, Grant Witherspoon, and he told a couple other minor league teammates. And in October of 2021, Jordan Kassar, Grant Witherspoon, they report back for baseball training camp, right? So they're down in Florida. So they talked to Taco and Jack and how they could use that to make some easy money from insider trading, right? The trouble was they were new to financial crimes and insider trading. They didn't know how the action really goes down. So, or rather, where it goes down. Like, there's a reason why CEOs do business on the golf course.
Yeah.
Do you know what that reason is?
No microphones.
No paper trail, no microphone. Nothing gets generated by a conversation at the tee box on the 16th hole.
Yeah, exactly.
So they go out there, they conduct business where no one can hear them or document it unless you're like wired.
Right.
Now, Kassar and his fellow minor leaguers, they don't know about golf and insider trading because they decide to text about it. So in their initial text, they talk about potential insider trading. And they talk about how from going forward, this is non-public information. It could be considered illegal. So if they act on this, so they text about how they can create a convincing scrim, like a beard, if you will, to hide their true intentions of insider trading. Now, not only did they document their crimes in text messages, they also documented how they planned to hide their crimes as well.
Oh, no.
So that confirms for any federal court that they were fully aware that they were doing crimes. Now, the plan was they'd start texting about how good Del Taco looked as a stock purchase. These minor leaguers suddenly just took an interest in Del Taco stock.
Wait. So they're like texting back and forth. Here's how we're going to establish a paper trail as they're establishing the wrong kind of paper trail.
Then they wait like a week.
Then they're like, okay, new group chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, guys, do you like Del Taco?
So if there's any discovery, they'll just start once we say Del Taco and move forward, I guess.
Oh, my God.
So the feds went back too far.
So Pepperdine, not really like too hot of an institution.
They're on the baseball team, Elizabeth. So the bunch of minor leaguers now all over the country start a text thread about how hungry they are for Del Taco stocks.
Stop it.
Now, despite the fact they'd never texted about the stock market prior, they thought this sudden interest in Del Taco would cover them for their insider trading.
Yeah,
we're
totally.
good. Now, Elizabeth, do you remember the Budweiser commercials where they are on a group phone call, and when new dudes would join, they'd say, "What's up?" Right?
Yes, I remember.
You do? Like, I want you to keep that energy in mind as I tell you about the minor leaguers text thread.
Oh, God.
But rather than just tell you about their text thread, Elizabeth, I'd like you to close your eyes, and I'd like you
eyes are
to picture it.
closed.
Elizabeth, it's October 5th, 2021. You are in an apartment in San Diego, California. A breeze is blowing in the window. You can hear kids playing wiffle ball outside. And you can also hear the distant notes of someone playing Sublime. Just loud enough you can faintly hear Bradley Knowles' voice as he sings about how he don't practice Santeria. He ain't got no crystal ball. Now, at this moment in the culture, the world is in a weird place. At the box office, No Time to Die is earning millions. So is the sequel, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. But in the culture, COVID-19 is still raging. So those numbers are rather impressive for a box office in a pandemic. Now, Elizabeth, I'd tell you the top-selling albums, but I doubt you'd know any of their names. It's a strange moment in the culture. At the moment, you are just chilling because you are Jordan Kassar's cell phone. Your lock screen is a photo of the Del Taco signage. Not your favorite, but you get it. It's a joke, because it seems that's all Jordan Kassar's texting about these days, the stock price of Del Taco. Your chill is interrupted when you feel Jordan's fingers wrap around you and lift you off the couch. He's texting again. His fingers fly. A moment later, you buzz with a responding text. It's his buddy Grant Witherspoon. You recognize his phone number. He texts often. And seemingly also always about Del Taco. So Witherspoon writes, check out the stock, guys. Del Taco. This chart is looking bullish to me. Might try to gamble on some options or something. I'd love to eat at Del Taco. Now, Jordan Cassar laughs as he reads the text, and he quickly responds. You feel his fingers punch out a response. He texts, I'm thinking about it too. Chart looks primed to boom. What's its 52-week high? A moment later, you vibrate again. Witherspoon responds, $11.99. Could see it hitting $10 easy. And then you feel Jordan Cassar finger out his response. He writes back, if we break 10, new 52-week highs could follow. The payout could be ridiculous if we buy the January 2022 call. You wonder to yourself if he thinks this tissue paper thin act will trick anyone. But mostly you're just glad he's not asking you to play his normal playlist, which sounds like the soundtrack for bottle service for douchebags at a Vegas casino. Elizabeth. After the text thread you just witnessed and sent, everyone on the thread started to purchase Del Taco call options. And this is my favorite part. Jordan Cassar wrote in a text message to his future co-conspirators that, quote, every dollar I earn hustling is going to Taco, as in the stock symbol for Del Taco. And then one of his co-conspirators texted back, might take everything out of savings and go all in. To which Jordan Cassar texted back, yeah, and catch a case. Ha ha ha. So they're very aware of the thin line. So they're even talking about catching cases in their cover scrim, in their little story.
We could totally go to jail for this, and that would be terrible because there's no Del Taco there,
man. So Jordan Cassar, he buys.
Do they want sponsorships too? Is that the other angle?
Is that the angle? Yeah, they're hoping Del Taco wants to back some minor leaguers.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jordan Cassar, he buys $465 worth of Del Taco call options.
Wait.
They don't have a lot of money.
$465. Okay.
That's where he starts. Now, Grant Witherspoon, he had a little more money saved up. He bought $3,683 worth of stock options.
We've got billion-dollar scam deals going on as you and I speak.
Yes, at the presidential level.
At the top level, multinational.
Yes,
and these guys are getting pinched. Oh, come on.
Yeah, so they get their stock options. They're set to expire in January 2022.
What did they make, $28? Hooray!
They got free Del Taco. So the next week, they buy some more options. And then, so did others. Jordan Cassar starts telling others about this upcoming acquisition. As autumn rolls on, the minor leaguers who were in their off-season, they keep playing at the stock market, right? They're all texting each other about taco stock option prices and how they crept up to 11 or 10 or whatever. Now, the real price of the stock is nowhere near. It's staying around $8, $8.50. So they're talking purely future markets, right? So what the minor leaguers need to get right is the expiration date on their options. Okay. They need to be holding the options when the merger is announced. And they keep expiring, and so they're trying to go, we have to time this right, and they don't have the money to keep buying. So it becomes a question, right? They need to know, when will the merger be announced? As the best as he could figure it, Jordan Cassar believed the deal was going to go down in late 2021 from what finance employee told him. It's probably before the end of the year. So that's what he's telling everybody in the text, right? Or maybe early 2022.
Wouldn't they want to buy it at its lowest?
What do you mean?
If it's $8 when they're talking.
They just want to be holding a price. They want to be holding the stock options in the future. And the sooner, the closer to right this moment they can get them, the price will stay low.
Yeah.
The further in the future, the price will start creeping up for the options because more and more of this news will start leaking out.
Why wouldn't they just buy it all then?
Because they don't have the money to do that, and also they're trying to buy options in 100 in groups of 100 or less.
Yeah.
100 is the most they can do.
Yeah.
So in a series. So at this point, Jordan Cassar, he texts his friend, the finance employee, and then they start chatting. Turns out finance employee is going to be taking a long drive to L.A. Jordan's like, hey, I'll ride with you. So he rides with him. He's like, I don't know, man. I'm going to be talking on a Zoom call most of the call. He's like, I'll drive. You just do the Zoom call. So he texts the others to let them know, okay, I'll ask about the taco deal or the Zoom call drive. So he texts the group thread. He texts them while he's on the call, giving them updates.
And driving.
Yeah, well, I guess he's getting gas, whatever. Let's just say he's getting gas. Anyway, so he'll be texting 4-hour call. All right, and Witherspoon's responding, that's incredible. Right, and now Jordan, Cassar is responding, hopefully about the good.
4-hour Zoom call?
It's 4-hour Zoom call
been in some
about
of those.
M&A. Yeah. So
make you want to poke your eyes out.
So he texts I'll have a full report on Saturday for you guys. And Witherspoon responds, better be good.
Oh, God.
Because I think they're getting financially stretched. So he's like,
sure.
I'm out $3,000, man. I can't afford that because that's like half my salary.
Sitting on all this taco stock.
And the trouble is, as I pointed out, Jordan Cassar does not know when the deal's going down, and he's hoping that he's going to hear about it in this call, right?
Yeah.
So the minor leaguers, as I said, they don't want to be holding worthless paper when it expires in January. Now, it's clear he needs to pump finance employee for more from the insider trading, specifically when's the deal going to go down. But after the 4-hour call is over, Jordan Cassar doesn't know. He cannot tell from the call because no dates were mentioned. They were talking about other aspects of due diligence. So he just straight up has to ask about the impending timing of the acquisition. So like, hey, man, when's this all going to get announced? So you want me to change the station? So the finance employee, he tells them what he knows. Like he tells them more non-public information.
Yeah.
And he explains that Cassar, you overheard some of this in the Zoom call, right? So he's like, he explains what he overheard, then he explains how that affects the timing, and then he tells them when the timing will probably go down for the announcement. So after that, Jordan Cassar bought more Del Taco stock options.
Of course he did.
He went big time at this point. He bought $4,099 of Del Taco stock options. I'm thinking he borrowed money.
Yeah.
As they say in hip hop, once again, it's on. So let's take a little break. And after these messages, I'll tell you about how Taco hit the fan. Elizabeth.
Zaron.
We're back.
Hey.
Ready to talk more about stock options and strike prices?
Yes, sir.
How would you be handling all of this if you were one of the ball players?
If I knew about this?
Yes.
I'd take a trusted relative to lunch somewhere and very quietly explain the whole thing and tell them they had to go buy a bunch of stock.
It's interesting. I have bad news for you. That would have probably gotten them on a list. Once insider trading comes out, everyone who bought stock options in that period of time becomes suspect.
Yeah.
So,
but it's not me.
No, you would not be. Now, before we get back to the story, there's something I wanted to bring up, something that bothered me in the SEC charging documents.
Yeah.
There's this interesting narrative that's at work, threaded all throughout, and I quote, "The finance employee expected that Cassar would keep his additional information confidential, and Cassar was aware that the finance employee expected him to maintain its confidentiality. Nevertheless, in breach of his duty of trust and confidence to the finance employee, Cassar divulged the additional information shared with him." Now, in case you missed it, the SEC's point is, which they later repeat to make sure it's clear, and I quote, "The finance employee trusted Cassar to maintain those confidences, and Cassar knew that the finance employee expected him to maintain those confidences and not to misappropriate information shared with Cassar for his own benefit." So they're blaming Cassar for this breach
ridiculous.
of trust, right? Now, I refer back to the SEC charging documents wherein earlier the Security Exchange Commission wrote that in connection with his employment, the finance employee signed a confidentiality agreement and understood that information he received related to the acquisition was confidential.
Yeah.
My question is, finance employee signed a document, contract, whatever. How did he not violate that trust by sharing non-public information with his friend Jordan Cassar?
Duty of care, duty of trust, like all of
Due
these
diligence was literally his job.
Yeah, but it's just like he has like these fiduciary duties.
Totally.
And he's violated everything.
And the SEC shifts the responsibility to Jordan Cassar and says that, quote, "The finance employee expected that Cassar would keep his additional information confidential, and Cassar was aware that the finance employee expected him to maintain its confidentiality, nevertheless in breach of his duty of trust." How is that his duty of trust? Cassar is not an employee. He has no duty of trust to his friend in a bar in San Diego.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, like...
The finance employee is the one who breached Jack in the Box's trust. There's the trust that was breached. The minor league ball player...
Was he an informant?
Would know nothing. He's a cooperating witness. That's why they've changed this narrative to make it where he's like a hero in this, where he's the actual one. The minor leaguer would know nothing about the Del Taco deal if finance employee had been like, hey, I'll get the next round. Oh, by the way, I got to tell you what I'm doing.
Did finance employee give the government something on someone else?
No,
that's why?
I think he just helped bust these minor leaguers, and there's a lot of them as compared to the one of him. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. It really bothered me when I was reading. So the SEC basically
For what,
they argue
like $40,000 total is what we're talking about?
Well, I'll tell you that number in a second.
Okay.
I have to assume that he chose also to testify against his old college teammates and drinking buddy because he got pissed that his buddy jeopardized his corporate career while he goes out and gets to play baseball professionally while the old Pepperdine teammate is a former minor leaguer taking 4-hour-long Zoom calls about buying Del Taco.
They all say to each other, not cool, bro.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of that flying around.
Yeah.
Not cool, bro.
Seriously, but what do I know? I mean, here's what I do know. I know what happened next. In November, Grant Witherspoon, bought more call options after his first series expired, which explains why he wanted the good news from Cassar. He was getting stretched.
Yeah.
Now, by the end of November, Witherspoon was holding a fresh batch of 204 call options, all set to expire on January 21st, 2022. Cassar had done similarly. Now the minor leaguers wait for the big news that Jack in the Box is going to buy Del Taco and wait for Wall Street fat cats to hear about it because they're on the inside. Here's the big news that I've teased. Monday, December 6, 2021, Jack in the Box announces the corporation plans to buy Del Taco. Wall Street goes nuts. The stock price of Taco jumps to the tune of 66%.
Wow.
Between October and December, when the deal was first announced, the price of Del Taco was never higher than $8.67. When the Jack in the Box, the deal goes through, the stock shoots up to $12.51.
Wow, okay.
It's a good amount, especially so you asked how much. The text thread of all the minor leaguers, they made a combined $189,000 in profit between them.
That's it.
Cassar made $56,500. Grant Witherspoon made $42,800. So yes, they didn't make a lot. They made enough to buy like a good used car, or maybe a little bit better than that. But
I repeat. We have at the highest
like
levels
a good used truck.
These billions of dollars, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars in crypto insider trading, and these guys combined are like $100,000.
This is the SEC's going after.
That's great. That's a great use of our resources.
So Jordan Cassar, by the way, didn't just hook up his homies with the insider trading. Before the deal went down, he also spread the legal risk to his family. He told his dad about the Del Taco deal, and his father bought some Del Taco
Take him
options.
down with you. Why didn't they all, like, you get the Del Taco stock, but then, like, buy a bunch of other fast food stock, and then that's your cover, and you're like, listen, man, it's the pandemic, and people are, they want to go to drive-throughs. They can't sit in a restaurant. Let me do the
What
grinding.
are you, a mafia accountant?
Yes.
This is amazing.
Oh, wait. Did you just tell everyone?
No, you did. So some of the other minor leaguers on that text thread, they told their family and friends as well about the Del Taco money tree. And many of them bought Del Taco options before the deal was announced. You can see where this is going.
They drove the price up themselves.
Basically, there were so many people aware of this deal that were buying stock options before the Del Taco announcement that the trading volume became suspicious. So the SEC launched an investigation. A list was generated of all the folks who were purchasing stock options and sold them when the deal was announced.
Yeah.
And the list was passed around at Jack in the Box headquarters going, is any of your friends or family on this list?
Oh, no.
And yes, so the implication was that there was insider trading. So when the finance employee was shown the list, he recognized two names, his old teammates from Pepperdine, Jordan Cassar and Grant Witherspoon. And so then he apparently got mad, because apparently that's when he decided to become a cooperating witness for the SEC. Yeah. And maybe it was to protect himself from the scrutiny, once they'd figure out, like, wait a minute, they both know you. Or maybe because he was just genuinely embarrassed and angry and didn't expect Cassar to pull insider trading. I don't know. Yeah. Perhaps he knew that they might do this because he knew that they were impoverished minor leaguers, and that's why he got out of being a minor leaguer and joined corporate America. And he just got pissed when it circled back to threaten his life in corporate America. He's like, no, you boys of summer don't get to do this, I don't know. But I'm just speculating. I don't know what the dude was thinking or feeling. I just know his testimony will likely be key to busting his old teammates. Now, December 5th, 2024, 3 years and 4 days after the announcement of the Del Taco news hit Wall Street, the SEC had the big announcement of their own. The commission obtained a final judgment against Jordan Cassar, Grant Witherspoon, their co-defendant, Austin Bernard. Cassar was ordered to pay back the $56,470 in profits, but not only that, he also had to pay $9,986 in prejudgment interest. And he had to pay $63,194 in civil penalties. So that's a grand total of $129,650. The other co-defendants had to do the same, return the profits, and pay civil fees and interest. But that wasn't all. Because in March of 2024, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of California decided to file criminal charges against the minor league inside traders. So now Jordan Cassar, Grant Witherspoon, Austin Bernard, and Chase Lambert are all having to face these charges criminally. Thus, I say,
ridiculous.
Allegedly, they did these things.
Yeah.
What's wild to me is how they all have baseball-sounding names.
They totally
right?
do.
You know, like they all sound like ball
Grant
players.
Witherspoon.
Yeah, Chase Lambert.
Chase
Grant
Lambert
Witherspoon,
is like prime
Austin
baseball
Bernard,
name.
that's a little more basketball because of how I keep saying it. But Jordan Cassar, they're all ball player
They
names.
totally are.
Their case is still in federal court, so I don't know. I'm pulling for them.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
pulling for you guys.
Unless they're terrible people.
They're
and then
facing 20 years in federal prison. That's the maximum for the
this
same
is so
thing that
unfair.
the president calls a golf outing. They're looking at. It just doesn't seem fair to me. I
Well,
mean,
it's like,
sure,
you know-
like whatever, 6 months in minimum security federal facility. I get it. We need to like slap them on the wrist.
They
But 20
didn't-
years is ridiculous.
They didn't get a heads up on a tariff carve out.
No, they don't have enough to buy one now. So that's it. That's all I got for you, Elizabeth.
Oh, man, that's ridiculous.
So what's our ridiculous takeaway here?
You've got to think of your cover, man. Like, spread it. Don't do it on options.
Yeah.
Just go on a buying spree of a bunch of fast food.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Just hold it.
And it's not you. It's like, your cousin.
Yeah.
That you trust.
Yeah, because the options is you don't have to buy it, So that was they went a little cheap on their
They
thing.
did. They cheaped out.
Yeah.
It takes money to make money, baby. What's your takeaway?
They should have remembered that they were not players; they were ball players. Like you're not big money players.
Yeah,
Come on now,
no,
like now they're talking about like
They were
strike prices and
players.
stuff. Like come on, like you got to stay in your lane. Like
Yeah,
Evan Bernard,
exactly.
drive that lane.
Yeah, I talk big. I'm not buying all these things.
No.
I don't know up from down.
No, I
don't have the money for it.
There's that as well.
Yeah.
You in the mood for a talk back?
Yes.
Producer D, can you fave us with one?
Talkbacks. Oh my God, did he just say that?
OMG.
Hello, Ridiculous Crime Central. I'm Alan, reporting from the field. In regards to your recent epi about David O. Russell, it recalled for me the time in college when I was assigned to watch that film and report on the experience, that film being Spanking the Monkey. Now, I had purchased nachos not knowing what kind of film it was. I was crunching nachos when it was very awkward. Many were leaving.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
It's so
Thank
good.
you for taking us back to that awkward
We've all
moment.
been in like the, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The theater, eating the nachos when the bad thing starts happening on screen, and then the old couple gets up and walks out, then the middle-aged couple gets up and walks out.
Why do they sell nachos for the theater? It's so loud.
That is a good point.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll take it up with management.
As always, you can find us online, Ridiculous Crime on the social medias. We have a Ridiculous Crime pod on YouTube. Go check that out and recommend people it and, go, listen to it. We also have our website, ridiculouscrime.com, and we obviously love your talkback. So please go to the iHeart app, download it, and leave a talkback. Maybe we get to be favored by your voice. Wouldn't that be nice? Also, you can email us if you like at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. Please start the email, Dear Producer D. Well, that's all I got for you. Thank you. We'll catch you next time. And next crime. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by the Ivan Boesky to our Enron accounting department, Dave Gustin. And starring Annalise Rucker as Judith. Research is by the inventor of the credit default swap, Marissa Brown. Our theme song is by Thomas, Who Wants to Buy a Derivative Asset? Lee. And Travis, who are all these corporate welfare queens? Dutton. The host's wardrobe provided by Botany 500. Guest hair and makeup by Sparkleshot and Mr. Andre. Executive producers are Ben. I've always preferred Del Taco to Taco Bell. Bolden. And Noel. Yeah, well, I prefer Jim Boy's Tacos. Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app,
Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.